Welcome to Hello Tangent, the podcast where we talk about movie, TV, video games, comics, and desperately try to stay on topic. And I'm your host, Clark.
And I'm Kat. Welcome
And
back.
yeah, welcome back, Kat. We are here. Yay! Kat's no longer quarantined.
I'm not quarantined anymore.
Yeah, so Kat's back, and we are actually celebrating because as we're recording this, tomorrow will be 1 year exactly since we released our first episode. So this is our 1 year extravaganza.
Woo!
And I say extravaganza, but it's probably actually going to be more of a mini-sode. We'll probably keep this as around an hour.
Or try to anyway.
But we will be uploading it to YouTube also, and that's fun.
So check us out on YubTub.
Yes, check out the YouTubes. We'll do all the plugs for that later. First off, we're going to do some housekeeping, do some announcements. Kat, what is going on with you?
Oh boy, is there ever so many things. So I'm going to be moving, relocating, finding myself a new place that is not in this wonderful area, but not too far from this wonderful area. Getting a new job, all that fun stuff.
The good stuff. So yeah, if you've been listening, you've noticed that we've had Garrett filling in the last couple of weeks, and he did a great job, by the way, and we will have him back. But while Kat is getting everything together and moving, she will be still doing all these episodes and being on YouTube and everything.
Oh yeah.
She's not going away. She's just
I'm just relocating.
yeah, we're just making we already have to I have to drive a long way for work as it is, so traveling is something we're quite used to.
Oh yeah. It's fun, And there's a possibility that something exciting will come of my move. I'll be closer to Atlanta. Is where I'm going. You don't need to know the specifics because it doesn't really matter.
Atlanta's massive.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Atlanta's humongous. I'll be on the outskirts, I think. I don't actually know all of Atlanta. I just drive there with my GPS. I'm like, I'm lost. And the GPS is like, yeah, me too. I'm like, oh, great. Turn left. Turn left again. Nope, another left. Going in circles.
Yeah, GPS in Atlanta would like overheat and fry and start smoking.
My favorite is when you have to find Peachtree.
Yeah.
And it's like Road Street Avenue, northeast, southwest. What's going on? It's fun. But yeah, I'm moving because I have a new job opportunity and just some new opportunities in life. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. But what we'll be doing to fill content, I will be doing more guest hosts. We have actually several people lined up to come on other than Garrett, but I'm sure Garrett will be coming back for other stuff too. And and then obviously Kat and I will be kind of holding down the main topics and doing the big stuff. And we'll be doing lots more YouTube stuff. We'll be doing movie reviews and finally are going through our IGN thing that we've been talking about for literally a year.
Years. I know. So how long have we been talking about Hello Tangent in general? Like going on 3 years, isn't it? Because
really?
not necessarily us filming and recording, but like actual talking about it.
Probably. So Austin and I originally had been talking about doing something similar, and we actually did like a test run film YouTube thing.
Yeah.
About E3, and that was about 3 years ago, I would say. And then you and I started talking about it, and because I knew Austin's schedule was just going to be far too hectic.
Wild.
And that was him literally getting out of school and going into the world.
Going into school.
Yeah, and going into school. So Austin finally will be coming on the show, which I'm excited about.
I'm really excited too. Austin's pretty fantastic, guys. He's a pretty cool guy.
And so yeah, that's gonna be super exciting. But I made the Hello Tangent Twitter last January.
I was just thinking of what should our password be?
Oh, which that is no longer our password. So we'll tell that story one day.
No. Art thou male?
So I mean, we might as well do it.
Go for it.
So our original password was jokingly "Art thou male," and it comes from Kat was trying to tell me that she was going to draw up our thumbnail for the Twitter account. And so yeah, I misheard that, and she said our thumbnail like twice, and I was just like, are you insulting me in Shakespearean like right now?
Which isn't entirely off key for something that I would or
Yeah.
he would do.
So I thought
So
she was just being very formal in the way she was calling out my masculinity or lack
art thou
there
male?
or lack thereof. So anyway,
Mm.
that's yeah, that's kind of how Hello Tangent actually started. And Hello Tangent itself actually started from you saying basically us talking, and we got so far off topic on what we were
Yeah, I
supposed
was
to be
like, "Hello,
doing.
tangent," and we're like, "Wait a second, that's the perfect
Yeah,
name."
so that definitely, yeah, that was immediately we knew that had to be the name. So there's some backstory on Hello Tangent.
Yeah, there is a tiny bit of backstory. It's funny
And
because we would at our job that is mine currently for the next couple of days and then gone, and one that Clark has not worked at for a little while. We would have minutes between certain tasks that we had to do, and it would be talking about all the nerdy shit.
well,
And
I would have to walk through your area essentially, and I would just stop and waste
yeah,
time.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a pretty easy person to waste time with, so
It was pretty slow those days.
yeah. So we would sit and we'd talk, and people would make fun of us for chatting and being overzealous about the things that we like. But it was always like, so why are we just talking about it? Why don't we just podcast about it? Because we're pretty freaking hilarious. We're pretty like genius when it comes to all kinds of fun conversation. Why not include people? And as it happens, you people that listen to us have now been included because we are audacious human beings that like talking about things and like hearing our own voices.
That's yeah. And one day in September of last year, we finally decided to just bite the bullet and do it.
Yep.
We actually had some help getting everything started from Dennis, our friend, who you probably haven't heard from in a while. Surprise! Guess who one of the guest hosts that is lined up pretty soon?
Oh, yeah.
Dennis will actually be on the show coming up. So for those who didn't know, when we first started the show, Dennis was going to be a part of it, and then he had a kid.
He did have a child. Well, he didn't. His
He
wife had a
didn't. His
kid.
wife. He and his wife had a kid right when
It'd
it
be kind
started
of
up,
cool if he
and
did himself,
that
because
would
then he
be.
could go to Disneyland for free once. Disney World. I
They
don't know.
let you go to Disney World free.
If you are a male that conceives a child, you apparently can go to Disney World for free.
That is like one of the strangest thing, like rules
They're
or whatever.
probably like, we had this conversation literally like 5 minutes ago about transgender, all that different stuff, like phobia or whatever. But, Disney's got, don't strike us down, please, Disney gods. But like they have some history. So they're probably like, that's pretty much up there with pigs flying. So if a man has a baby, yeah,
Uh,
sure they can go to Disney for free. But who knows if it's you have anyway. If
that's
somebody wants my uterus,
that sounds like a.
pay me because I'm pretty sure that you can have a child. You can have my uterus, and if you have your child, you could go to Disney and just give me like $100 for it.
But that does sound like an urban legend thing almost.
It might be. You have to ask Daniel. He's the one that always talked about it.
Oh, another guest host who will probably eventually make an appearance on
I
here.
sure hope so. He's got he's got school and work stuff, but
I'm gonna wait until they drop a. Well, since Bethesda just got bought out by Microsoft or Xbox, that is.
rip.
Uh, if they announce an Elder Scrolls 6, I'll probably have him on for that because
Yeah,
that's
because he's the one that would be super jazzed about that.
yeah. So I'll probably save that topic for him. But yeah, and then that's basically though getting back to the evolution of Hello Tangent as we go off on tangents.
As tangents happen, as you can see.
That's basically what happened. We started off. We're actually going to be celebrating this by looking back at all the episodes we've released and kind of reminiscing on it a little. Since, like I said, this is kind of a special 1 year surprise episode. We actually released a new episode this week, which was the most recent one with Garrett and myself talking about our favorite iconic cars from movies and TV.
I'm glad that you guys
Which,
talked about that because I
I
like
knew.
cars, but I don't know jack shit about them.
We got a little too techie into like we actually car nerded out.
That's precious.
So,
Did you bring up any Transformer cars?
we did bring up one car. We basically how we did it was we each drew up a top 10 list
Okay.
of our favorite
And you
cars.
actually stuck to a top 10 list?
Oh yeah, and
Is
then
it just me that we can't do
we
top
can't do
10
that
lists
apparently.
with?
Yeah, apparently you aren't enabled to list things.
Fuck lists, man.
So we did our own top 10 list and then we just went back and forth, number 10, number 10, number 9, number 9. And we both actually picked I don't want to spoil the episode. We both picked one car from the Transformers movies. and we picked the same one, and we picked it at the same part in our list.
That's pretty wild.
So, yeah, I know it's kind of funny. So it was kind of a surprise. I
I
was like,
guess I got to go listen to that
yeah, you should probably
episode.
listen to it because I was pretty proud of it. It's pretty hilarious. So anytime Garrett comes around, he's always good for a laugh. But
A little chuckle,
yeah, a little chuckle here and there.
a chortle.
So we are gonna, like I said, go through our episodes, reminisce. But kind of going back into the history of Hello Tangent, we started off with Call of Duty was our first episode we wanted to do. And I think that's at the time Modern Warfare had just been announced. The new Modern Warfare had just been announced. So that's why we chose that. And the audio quality was absolute garbage on it. We thought we knew what we were doing. We did not know what we were doing. It took me a while of research and throwing money at things, and before we finally got a good setup that we're proud of, and or I'm proud of at least the sound.
I mean, I think that it's neat to see the evolution, even though we're still not the most technically savvy
Oh no, by no
group
means.
of individuals. But it's neat to see the evolution, and it's neat to have a starting point and a place that we can climb from there.
Yeah, and we're getting better as hosts too as we go on. I mean, we've always been a conversationalist podcast. We've always said, "Hey, we're just going to sit down and wing it," because talking is what we do. That's kind of the whole point in doing this podcast, was just this is how we actually converse, and that's pretty much we've kind of found out as we go through some of these that some things worked, some things didn't work. Really happy with some episodes, wasn't happy with other ones, and well, let's just go through them and
Yeah.
see how it goes.
And if you have a favorite episode, be sure to comment somewhere and let us know what your favorite episode has been so far. We do like human interaction.
We do.
We
Contrary-
crave it.
Contrary to popular belief, since we seem like raging assholes sometimes.
I mean,
Oh, Zelda might make an appearance on camera.
that was my shoe on the chair.
Sure.
I mean,
hope
it could've
that. I
been a
really
fart.
hope that came
Who
through the
knows?
microphone. That'd be amazing if that comes
I
out.
mean, if you're like, oh, they'll know. They'll understand. It'll probably come through.
All right. Let's go through these episodes and trip down memory lane.
Let's not trip. Let's skip.
That. Oh, how do I go back to here? There we go. Did I do this in reverse? I don't. How?
Can you tell that we're super great at technology? Like the super best.
Oh yeah. And we never plan. We've said in the past that I think
We've
people
tried
know.
planning.
We've tried planning and we've tried doing research intensive things, but we just don't have the time or focus, I think.
The focus is the worst part. Like, I don't know. You saw with our Spider-Man. Is Spider-Man literally the only one we did any sort of research for?
No, we did. I'd say for Call of Duty, we
Oh,
actually
yeah,
did a fair
shit,
amount.
huh?
And I'm surprised that episode did not. Well, let's just go with it. Coming out on September 25th, a year ago, 2019, episode 1, Call of Duty and Tangents. This episode went for an hour and 23 minutes, which it seemed so much longer. I think it was just because we were recording our first podcast ever,
Probably.
but it seemed like it took forever.
Forever.
But we basically went through all the games and then said which ones we liked, which ones we didn't like, and then we started. What we were going to have as a common theme is our top 3, like our 3 versus 3, and then have
That
people vote
listing
for it on.
happens.
Yeah, but we just never we never kind of kept to it.
We've had struggles with our social media presence, I think, because we get caught up doing other things.
Yeah,
But we're working on it. We're
Yeah.
also, I'm going to plug it now. We're making I've got a Discord server that's made. We just have to fill it.
Oh yeah, and I've been Twitch streaming,
You've been twitching.
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 I've been doing the twitching, and also, like I said, we have the YouTube now, which this is going up today on. Yay!
Woo! Today it's going up
Yeah,
today.
as soon as we finish this, it'll be going up.
What?
So amazing, and so we will put that up on our Twitter and Facebook and everything.
That's right.
So yeah, we'd appreciate it. If you're listening to this now, thank you. Or if you're
Yeah.
watching this now, I should say.
Absolutely. Leave
For,
what kind of an emoji do we want them to leave in the comments if they're listening to this right now?
No, your choice.
God damn it.
The wolf head for Zelda.
Yeah, leave the wolf head for Zelda if you're listening to this or watching or doing both. I know I'm one of those people that doesn't always watch a YouTuber, but I will listen because I do a million things at once.
Hmm.
I know you also do a million things at once.
Oh yeah, that's the only way my brain can function.
Same. If I have to focus on one thing, it actually slays me. Like I die a little bit every second,
I mean,
and it's really frustrating.
that's why I have two big ass TVs in there, is because something has to be on one while I'm focusing on what's on the other.
Yeah. I've been watching The Untamed. I can't remember the Chinese name for it and I will butcher it cuz I'm not good at Chinese. But I've been watching it and it is a fantastic story, great movie or not movie, great television show, but it's all in Chinese and I don't speak Chinese unfortunately. So all of my attention has had to be devoted to this one thing and it I've managed to get 20 episodes in without dying, but I have to take pauses every like 2 hours or something to do something else. Anyway, tangent.
Tangents. Um,
Tangent.
but yeah, the first episode, I remember, like I said, the audio was absolute garbage. We put it up anyway because I mean,
Got to start somewhere.
got to start somewhere. That's if I don't encourage people to go back and listen to that, and in fact, I want to redo Call of Duty.
I mean, there's going to be Call of Duty coming out for the rest of our lives, probably.
Yeah,
So we can
so
always, and maybe we'll actually do a top 3.
yeah, we'll have to revisit it. Well, it might have changed now because the most recent Modern Warfare, I've actually put more time into than I put into any multiplayer Modern Warfare since the first
Oh yeah,
Since Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
I have not played the new. I don't think I've played the last couple of new Call of Duty games, so that's something that I need to get on. Maybe we can stream that or something. Do some co-op bullshit.
Can, yeah. I do need to. I've been wanting to Twitch stream with my friends. One of whom that I play with is Garrett.
It's one of the issues that we will run into initially with things like streaming, live streaming in a couple of different ways is you can't co-stream on Twitch until you have so many subscribers or
Hmm.
so many things. But you can Twitch stream and he can Twitch stream and people can bring both things up. And eventually after some playtime, hopefully we can get partnership because that's something I'd like for us to be able to do
Oh yeah.
is to do you can make Twitch squads and have a number of people, but I don't know if everybody has to be verified partner or whatever. So if you know that information, definitely let us know cuz we want to
Help us.
make yeah, exactly. Help.
Help me.
Help. We want to make your experience with us all the more satisfying and less troublesome than having to open up 6 different things at once.
All right. Episode 2 is Books and Tangents.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember this one?
I do slightly.
All right. This came out on October 10th, 2019. It was an hour and 29 minutes long. And it says our description was conversations about which books they want to see made into games and TV shows. I don't remember a whole lot of this episode, I'll be honest. I should probably go back and listen to some of these early ones. I know we talked about The Witcher a lot.
Yeah,
And
because we wanted to do the MMO thing with The Witcher.
yeah,
That's still an idea, whoever is
St-
making Witcher games.
still do it. CG Project Red. As soon as Cyberpunk comes out, get to work on it.
God, I'm excited for
I know.
Cyberpunk.
That's going to consume my life. I'm going to
Same.
put so many hours into that. It's ridiculous.
Same. I'm going to become the cyber.
Although I have been playing the Marvel. Have you played the Marvel
I
Avengers
haven't
yet?
yet, but I know you were gushing about it over text
It was
like a week
super
ago.
fun at first, and now it's getting into that Destiny grind, you know?
See, I picked Destiny back up the first week of my vacation before my COVID-cation.
COVID-cation.
I was playing because I've got a hunter that is just slightly past the finished stage of the first story. So I was like, I'm gonna play this thing because it's something that you can play with people or you can play alone. And I was so lost because the controls from that to Final Fantasy 14 online they're different. But oh, Destiny! I love the designs. That's one of the things that I absolutely love about Bungie games is the designs and the armor and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
Chef's Kiss, perfect, beautiful.
Yeah, it's just that grindy gameplay, the same sandbox areas kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
once you, I think in this kind of games you have a moment like I kind of that I'm still finishing the campaign in Avengers,
Uh,
but I'm starting to realize like I'm seeing all that repetition now to where it's at the point where it's like, okay, I get it. Like the light bulb went off where I'm like, this is like destiny.
Yeah.
But
I've seen pictures. I think the only complaints I've really seen other than, people just being kind of bitchy about it. But the only complaints I've seen literally about the game are that the models for the bodies are all pretty much the same, so you don't get too much difference from Steve's face to Tony's face or
yeah, I could see
stuff
that.
like that. But at the same time, I can understand because that takes a lot of time and money to mocap and do all that different stuff to find people who are going to have the likeness that you want to record and base off of.
The humor's great though. The
That's what I remember you mentioning.
the humor very much captures the MCU kind of back and forth humor. I've loved that part of it. The cutscenes are, like I said, have been fantastic, but it's a short campaign, and like I feel like I haven't played that much of it, and I'm 50% of the way through. But I just downloaded the 12 gig update also. I don't know if that includes Hawkeye yet or not, but Hawkeye is going to be
I hope that he
included
has
soon.
some excellent humor because Hawkeye is fucking peak humor.
So far, Black Widow is actually one of my favorite character to use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just playstyle. It always fits for me. I don't know what it is. I've kind of neglected leveling or powering up Hulk and stuff like that. I've been like, oh, you're boring to use now.
Speaking of spiders, I had this fucking like palm-sized wolf spider on my leg the other day,
Hmm.
just hanging out. And I didn't notice it because I've been wearing, it's been chilly enough that I've been able to wear sleep pants when I'm at home instead of my shorts. So it's hanging out on my leg. My cat looks down and I'm like, whatever, it's just a cat. She's doing her thing. Fine, cool, whatever. She looks down and it starts moving and she's like, oh, I'm so much more intrigued now. And I'm like,
Hmm.
what are you looking oh god. Wolf spiders are not super aggressive, but they are massive. And fortunately this one was not carrying babies because that would have fucking sucked if I had a baby full like big ass spider on my leg. But I got a cup and scooped it into the cup very carefully. I didn't get bit. This big ass spider was just hanging out. And I'm like, how? Why?
Well, that was
Anyways,
very humane of you.
I would, yeah,
A lot
well,
of people just screamed and slapped it.
sorry, it was massive. The noise alone smushing it would have been terrible. But also, like, don't kill wolf spiders. They're great, especially over here because they eat roaches and shit like that.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
the real disgusting bugs.
Yeah, yeah. But like the craziest part though, because I looked down while she was looking down, and because it was such a large spider, the reflection of the light when I moved my leg reflected off of its eyes, and I was like, "That's not freaky at all." Anyway, proceed.
No, that's what we're here
Tangents,
for is tangents. Tangents
tangents,
and tangents.
tangents, and tangents and
Um,
tangents.
yeah, that's all I really remember about books and tangents. Uh,
I think I'd mentioned briefly Red Rising would be a
yeah,
phenomenal.
which I'm still reading.
I know it's kind of a grind of the very first book, but once you get into it, you could actually pick up the audiobooks. The audiobooks are fucking great.
What's funny is I subscribe to a podcast that like kind of reviews as it goes,
Uh-huh.
but I can't listen to any new episodes because they're so far, like so much farther ahead of me, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like going back to the beginning yet because I'm like, let me just read this first and then listen.
Right.
I'll see. Like I said, way too many things going
Anyone living in the US right now should listen to Red Rising. That's all I got to say.
on. Yeah, I guess it's very fitting.
Yeah. Any part of the world actually right now. It's just a really good story. If you like rebels and rebellion and shit and clever stuff and just really good writing because I think that it's a really well-written book.
Well, your vocabulary, you tend to like using those like European or the English curse word substitutes.
Do I?
Yeah, you do. You say like you have like I can tell you read like a lot of that because I don't know.
Clark, I could tell you read a
I can
lot.
tell you read a lot. I like to read every now and then myself. So I do this thing now at work. This is I don't know. I love it. I like to do this thing because I just like to make life really awkward. Like
I mean,
I think breaking social norms is hilarious.
as you should.
So I do this thing specifically with one girl that I work with, but she knows I'm doing it because I've already told her like ahead. I'm like, this is so silly to me. It's hilarious.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So she laughs at it because she knows exactly what I'm doing, but it's funny for the people around us because they don't know I'm doing it as a joke.
Uh-huh.
But I call it awkward flirting, and I'll just go up to this one girl that I work with when people are around, and I'll say, "I parked next to you today."
It's amazing. Everyone's like,
Yeah, and it's just hilarious to me.
do we need to watch him when he leaves
Uh,
for his car? Like, what's going on?
so we get it. We get
Do
a
you
kick out
need
of it.
someone to
but-
walk you out to your car, ma'am?
I think it's just so funny to
Is
say.
this man bothering you?
I like queso dip too, and just like just drop the worst lines that I can possibly think of at the moment.
Wow, you breathe air.
Yeah,
Me too. I'm breathing the same
I'm
air as
breathing-
you.
I'm not breathing anymore.
Just pass
Just
out.
hyperventilate around her.
Get a bag.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There's so many more I could do, but I think it's hilarious. And
That
it's
is
like,
phenomenal.
it's actually kind of funny because another coworker, a couple of them had like gone out to lunch and stuff, and one of the guys is really new,
Mhm.
and they were all just kind of discussing how they liked the job and everything, and he asked like what he thought of me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I really like Clark and all that kind of stuff." And yeah, and the guy's like, "Yeah, but he just went on this like spiel about how awkward or how weird or how like awkward or uncomfortable I'll be like just doing things." And he's like, "You do realize he does that like 90% of the time on purpose?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so."
I think so.
So,
That's
like-
the best part.
So then it became my mission, like all this last week, this guy's been watching me whenever I'm around that guy to see what I'll do just to like be weird on purpose. Because I'm like, I've got to get him good now.
You're like, now it's on now. Listen, be the chaos you want to see in this world.
That's exactly what I do. I just love it. It's my not like so much of my entertainment is just making me laugh at making other people question reality.
Yeah, I mean, same though. Like that's important. That is the most important thing that Loki would be proud. That's all I
Yes.
gotta say. Loki would be proud.
True. That should be my role model.
It should be. You know, it's funny. Literally, as I was walking out the door to come over here, I had ordered this pin like a month ago. It was like a pay for production thing. And the pin says chaotic chunk. And I was like, I should wear this today. I'm not going to, but I should wear this today because it's perfect. Like chaotic dumb fuckery is my motto. Like that is my life. And I'm okay with that. And I'm glad for when other people around me are also chaotic dumb fucks because it makes for some really fucking interesting content.
And it makes your life so much better.
It does. How can you be mad when you're being chaotic?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I gotta say.
It makes so many things in life easier. Like,
And if
it-
you are chaotic and mad, it does make things funnier because people are like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to do.
then you become like the loose cannon. They don't know. They're like, is he serious? Is he?
Yeah,
like-
there's yes. Exactly. There's a reason people like Billy Butcher are my fucking role model in life because it's just like I want to be that person.
All right. Episode 3, 10 Questions and Tangents, came out on October 16th of 2019. This is when you found a random list online
I remember
of
that.
10 questions to ask nerds, and we went through it, and
We were like, this is not even going to be like 30 minutes long and
Oh.
had an hour and a half.
this one's 2 hours on the mark.
is it 2 hours?
This one went for 2 hours, and I think it may be our longest episode. Let's see if I've got one on here that we've got. When we did video game movies, that one came in at 1 hour and 55. That's the closest one.
Wow.
Yep, that is it. So that's our longest episode, was 10 questions and tangents.
Can you believe 10 whole ass
Uh,
questions was the longest time that we talked?
And I want to say at this point, we had the audio straightened out by this point. I don't know if we had done it by episode 2 or not. I can't remember if the first 2 episodes the audio was off or just the first one. But by episode 3, I think our audio finally had we kind of figured it out, and yeah, it came together pretty nicely. I remember some of the questions were just like Star Trek or Star Wars, things like that. Easy things to answer. Like, were you a Marvel or DC person? It was typical stuff on some of them, and then some of them we were just like, I have no, like the Harry Potter questions, I have no, like,
Yeah, no interest.
Yeah, no
No concept.
information to put forth at all
Yeah.
because my slate is blank on
Yeah.
Harry Potter history.
As it well should be, considering the shit that's going on.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's all kinds of J.K. Rowling stuff in the news now.
She is a joke. Sorry, guys, if you like them. You know, that's on you. But I would rather read actual good books about magic.
Nice.
What's the who is it, Rex? I wouldn't stab you in the back. I'd stab you in the front. From Mass Effect. I don't remember how it goes.
I know.
One of the Krogans. It might not have been
Or was it?
Rex.
What's the other one in Grunt or
I
something?
think so. It
Yeah.
might have been Grunt. I don't know. Whoever you get to replace Rex if Ashley kills him.
I don't remember.
Well, they're remastering Mass Effect, so you know what?
Sweet.
We can go ahead and
We'll
do
play that again.
yes.
I will be streaming that.
I will also be streaming.
I'm gonna
that.
try to recreate my character exactly the way I had her in the first one. And
I don't remember the very first Shepherd I played. I think was a female, so I obviously have to do male Shepherd because like that's the thing. You can be female, I'll be male. We'll
yeah,
see who's.
I'm definitely
gonna
try to recreate my FemShep, so I'm gonna make it.
You gonna
close as I
romance
can.
Rex? Not Rex. Garrus.
I did.
Caden.
So here's the fun thing, and I don't know if I ever told you this. I played 2 before I played 1.
You did tell me that.
So I did 2, and I want to say I ended up with like Jacob or something.
Ooh, but the prize.
I mean, shit happens. And
I liked Jacob. I just didn't like his romance. He was kind of a creep.
yeah, he was kind of creepy.
I
But
liked
also,
his romance that he had with
And
some side character.
in retrospect too, he wasn't like. He was a strange one because he was like, wasn't he a soldier class or was he like an engineer or something? Like, he wasn't a soldier class, was he? He acted like he wasn't that brave. Like, he acted always kind of reserved. Like, I don't know if we should go in there.
I don't remember what his class specifically was, but I don't think he had any. He was not a biotic, is all I remember.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah,
So he might have been like the hacker.
maybe.
Hacking
I
class?
don't remember. I can't. Maybe they'll remaster 2 also, and I'll get the whole trilogy back. But so I played 2 before I played 1, and then I went back to play 1. And when I went back, I somehow recreated like my character perfectly, and I was like, "Yes, this looks awesome." And then I played through the trilogy with that character.
Mm-hmm.
So I did 2, and then I did 1, then 2, then 3, and then I think I went back and played 1 again. That's how I did the trilogy.
Yeah.
And when I went back and started from 1, I ended up romancing Liara, and I kept that through the trilogy. So I didn't. I mean, I'd already gotten the achievement for romancing someone in 2.
Yeah.
So for the second, after I did the first one, I was like, I'm just gonna keep Liara.
I remember my like first playthrough. It was purely Caden, and the second game, when he shows back up, he's all pissed off. He's like, "You didn't call," and it's like, "I was dead. What
Yeah,
the fuck do
that's
you
true.
want from me?"
Yeah, he's true.
And then in the third game, he's like, "I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it." Like after he's been
Oh,
a
man.
butthurt little bitch. Caden is one of my favorite characters in that series. Like you can at me if you want to, but I enjoy his character. And I enjoy the like moodiness that he has toward you in the second and the third game. Start of the third game. But
Ashley's that bullet everyone's glad they dodged. Like,
there are people that
you- if-
legitimately like her character, and I'm just like, I need to understand what's going on in your brain because I don't like her at all. Like to begin with, I didn't like her, and I thought maybe that was just me being like, "Oh, other female character, get the fuck out of here." But like, I don't care about.
I just knew
that
how to
sort of
spot it.
thing.
I was
She
like,
was
I've
just
seen
like-
girls like that, and I've avoided them. Like,
like the plague.
like I saw that, and I was like, nope. I said, that's
Oh, I get to leave you behind on this
That's-
blowing up planet. Goodbye.
that's the girl you think is awesome. You're like, oh, she's hot, she's cool, she's like athletic, she's fun, and then you date her, and she like makes you quit all your hobbies, and you only can watch what she wants to watch.
Which is the
And-
Notebook 52 times in a
Yeah,
row.
She's the why don't we go here? And she buys you new clothes that aren't your style and make you wear. That's Ashley to me.
Yep. And she's fucking a racist, so
So as soon as I saw her, I was like, nope, I know better.
yeah. No, I tried. I think that I avoided talking to her for the majority of the time because a few times I did talk to her, she was just like, "Ugh, aliens suck." Just like, I don't like you. Go away.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think I saved her over Caden, and when you run into her in 2 or 3,
Mhm.
like she's still a bitch to you. She's
Yeah,
like,
oh, yeah.
she's like, you let Caden die on the planet, and it's like, you're still here.
Yeah, yeah. Did you die?
Yeah.
Because you could have died. I
Yeah.
could have let you die.
I could have let you not be here to bitch at me.
Yeah. In fact, I want to go redo.
Which is the beauty of video games. You can do that. I would go back and play all those 50 hours over again to get rid of her. The next episode, Episode 4, it was Halloween. It was our Halloween episode on October
I
30th.
remember you guys ripped on me so much because I have not played like any scary
Yeah,
games. And you're
you
like, how have you
none.
not played this game? How have you not played this game? And I'm like, because I fucking have it.
I
How
mean,
have you not seen this movie? I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies as a kid.
it's just such a
Cabela's
pure
is
joy.
calling me.
Nah,
Nah,
nah.
they can leave a voicemail. But yeah, no, that was a fun time. Everybody was ripping on Kat for not knowing anything about anything spooky.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, I love Halloween. I wish we'd been more organized in that one. There's just so much to cover in Halloween. Like you
Guess
can't.
we have to have a Halloween month.
Yeah, seriously, you really got to break it down with what you're gonna do. Like if it's gonna be Resident Evil, if it's gonna be Silent Hill, or I mean, there's just those series are so grand in scale that it's impossible to just say, "Hey, we're gonna do a Halloween episode," and talk about all of that. Like you'd have to do all the Resident Evil movies and the Resident Evil games and everything, all the media surrounding that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, next episode was what makes a game great. That was on November 12th. This is when we actually looked at a list of games that were. It was listed as like the most legendary games in video game history.
Yeah.
And we went through that and tried to rationalize why certain games are considered these grand spectacles or these like there's a shrine to these games that
Mm-hmm.
they've become like no matter how poorly they've aged or how poorly they play or just objectively not great necessarily they are in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, but we have to worship them because of how important they are.
Because everyone else
Yeah.
does.
That one went for an hour and 46 minutes. We talked a good ways on that.
We do talk a lot, though.
We do just talk a lot.
Just there's so much talking.
The next episode came out. It was Consoles That Defined Us and Tangents. This one went for an hour and a half. And I remember this one was just super poorly thought out.
It was.
I don't know why we decided to do this. We just were
I think
probably
it was probably one of those. We got nothing to talk about, but we got to talk about something. So let's just
yeah.
right out there.
And we just we just really talked about systems we grew up on and things like that. And it was kind of just broad and bland.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we were still learning.
I mean, you got to learn a little bit about us, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's fun for trivia night in 10 years when we're like super famous.
Oh yeah, like what was Clark's favorite system
Yeah.
ever?
What was his favorite?
Which I think I said the PS2 was my favorite.
I think
system.
you did. I definitely don't remember what mine is. Probably an Xbox, though.
Next was what makes a fantasy game great. This came out on December 18th, 2019.
I remember that a little bit.
This one we went over. I remember we talked about The Witcher. We talked about Final Fantasy. We talked about Zelda, Legend of Zelda, and we kind of went into not just tropes, but like things that we personally liked out of a story and like magic systems and then graphics. And we kind of just bounced around everything that comes together of what we really wanted, like our ideal game to be, and what would make the perfect fantasy game for us to
think
play.
that is what it ended up being, is what we would want the game to be, more so than what we thought about.
Yeah, of games that currently existed. I think we tried to talk about ideas we would have that we would say, hey, this would make the perfect fantasy game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So moving into 2020, the next episode was our obligatory decade in review, part 1. So this is a
I remember
two-parter.
that.
So, fun fact: a lot of podcasts or YouTube channels and stuff, like you'll have people that'll have a few drinks when they
Take a shot every time you say.
We rarely, well, I say rarely, Kat's never drank on the podcast. And this was one of only 2 episodes that I ever have. Actually, it was part 2, I think.
I think so.
It was part 2. So not on part 1, but on part 1, we just went through the first 5 years and we talked about the best of our favorite video games from the decade. And there was a lot. And obviously, this was the cliche thing to do in the beginning of 2020 is reviewing the
naturally
decade.
you have to do the thing that everybody's doing.
So yeah, we just went through it like everyone else was in our terrible way probably and had lots of tangents. But in part 2, which came out the next week, January 22nd, this was one of only 2 podcasts I've ever drank on. And I forgot I'd talked about in part 1 about how The Witcher 3 was my favorite game of the decade. And then when it came time for us to pick our favorite games of the decade in part 2, I left The Witcher 3
You
off it
did.
completely.
I remember that. Weren't we like looking over it and talking about it afterward? And you're like, oh,
Yeah, I had the
I
moment.
fucked up.
I don't remember if I said it on the podcast or not, but I was like, I didn't even need to say it. It's so ridiculous, though.
That's life, though. That's how it goes.
Can't take it back. I think it was in editing that I noticed it.
Probably.
But that's a fun fact there that was one of the only podcasts that I was actually imbibing on. Next came starting in January 29th, we had our big 3-part Spider-Man review.
Spoodermean.
Now, this is when we tried to get really, not, I'd say research intensive, but I put a lot of time into, like, I drew up outlines and printed it out and sent it to Kat, and I bought books. I don't think the Spider-Man books are in here. They're in here somewhere, but they're not on that wall.
They're hiding.
Yeah, they're not on that wall there. But I'd gone through a lot of the comic history and things like that and highlighted a bunch, and it ended up with the comics, which was part 1, it ended up just becoming more of a list of me rattling off.
Yeah.
And
kind of like, have you read this? No, I haven't read any of these, but these are the thing.
But we didn't have a whole lot to actually expound on, because some of these comics we knew the stories but had not read or didn't own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had a few that I could show off and be like, hey, here's one that's a famous one I've got. And since then, I've actually added one. I think I showed you the silver Todd McFarlane Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man from 1990.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up the gold one recently. Just
That's
a fun
beautiful.
fact.
You're like, why not?
So if I get the colored one, then I'll have the trilogy.
You should.
Yeah, it'd be fun. In part 2, we did the movies. We had a little bit more fun with this one. This one actually,
I actually knew what I was talking about with the movies.
we had a lot to talk about with that. This one actually is our longest one. It went for 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Oh, that whole last 2 minutes means something.
It does. It just beat out the other one. So 2 minutes by 2 minutes. This is the one where we had Zoophile. And and that big
I remember that.
big mess. So I don't remember which episode started the furries. They're everywhere.
God, I don't either, but that still needs to be made into a t-shirt.
It really does. That and Mablady.
Mablady. I'm writing that down as a reminder because, man.
We got to get that merch kicking.
Yeah.
Part 3, Revenge of the Tangents. We wrapped up, and I can't remember what all we talked about in part 3. We did the movies and TV. I guess we did the video games. Yeah, I went through the video games in part 3, and there was a lot of them that you hadn't really played. So it's more, again, me listing and talking and saying how much I liked stuff.
I'm just thinking about your wife being like, furries.
Furries.
And we were just like, that was 12 seconds ago. We are on a completely different conversation.
How it goes around here, man.
Oh, man.
You missed on the last episode. I had Zelda. She was being a little hellion in here running around. And I was like, man, it's almost like I wish I had a wife to like call the dog or something. And then you hear on the video, like, you hear, Zelda. Like, Zelda.
Zelda, calm down.
She's
out. She's looking out the window.
The next episode after we got done with Spider-Man was Theme Parks and Tangents. This came out on March 12th. Went for an hour and 38 minutes. Yeah, we talked about theme parks we both have a lot of experience growing up and going to theme parks. You're more probably now the enthusiast than I am. But
but we still gotta go. We have to do like a vlog where we go to the theme park. Yeah. I think that was March, so after I went to Disney. Disney World.
Disney World. Yeah, it was right when you came back. So that's why we were talking about it.
That's right. Because I was really excited about the Star Wars area.
Oh, yeah. I still have the Kyber crystal you gave me.
I have mine somewhere. I don't know where it's at, though.
It was
No, I thought about it, but I couldn't find it. It's in my boxes of things that I have packed. But that would have been a fucking hilarious, like...
Yeah, if you made it into a necklace. Yeah. Next episode was April 12th. It was Coronavirus and Tangents. That's amazing to think it was that long ago.
I know.
This is when it was the hot topic.
That's when we were goofing around about it, too.
Yeah.
Because everybody was goofing around about it.
So we talked about movies about and books about infectious diseases and outbreaks and apocalyptic scenarios.
Living in a pandemic
that could never happen in real life.
We were that stupid. 2-0, stupid.
So, yeah, that episode, it was an alright episode. I remember that one being just an average middle of the road episode. We talked about the movie Outbreak a good bit, and
Yeah, and I was like, I've never seen that
yeah,
movie,
which is
but I
so
remember 28.
used to be terrified of that movie when I was younger. I used to be
My mom
terrified.
actually brought that movie up a couple weeks ago, the Outbreak one.
Mhm.
I was like, "How do you know what this is? We weren't allowed to watch scary movies as a kid because it scared her and gave her nightmares." And I mean, as kids, you get those as well. But like, she was like, "Yeah, that movie was a thing." Because I funny story. So I get my positive result back, right?
Mhm.
And my mom goes, she didn't say anything. I texted it to her. I've got a group chat with her, my brother, and my sister, and then my dad and my brother and sister have their alt separate one because my parents are divorced and they don't like each other. So I texted, and most everyone responded back like within a couple of hours of me texting them, being like, "Hey, guess who has two thumbs and is positive?" My mom, like a week later, is like, "Holy shit, you have COVID!" I'm
A
like,
week
"Welcome
later.
to the
A
party."
week later, you'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good now."
Yeah, right. I was like, "You're lucky that I have like the mildest
Yeah,
case."
yep, and survived it. Thanks for
That's
calling.
right. She's like, "I'm so sorry." She's been calling every night since. She's like, "What's your temperature? How do you feel? What are your symptoms?" I'm like, "I'm going back to work tomorrow, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm doing okay."
Oh man, it seems so long ago we did that episode.
A million years ago.
Oh, next episode came out May 10th. It was an hour 55 minutes long, and this was video game movies.
Ah, memories. You know, I just watched, speaking of video game movies, because Prince of Persia and all that stuff, I just watched like an amalgamation of Jake Gyllenhaal videos. Speaking of being the chaos you want to see in the world, if you ever want to like laugh your dumb fucking ass off, go watch Jake Gyllenhaal being a chaotic mess. I don't remember what the title is, I'll send it to you. But he is he's our brand of chaos, and it's pretty great.
um, since we did that episode, I've still been on a quest to find Dead or Alive, the DOA Dead or Alive.
I think I rented it at Blockbuster when I lived in Las Vegas a million years ago when Blockbuster was still a thing. And I thought it was cool because, you know, hot chicks and shit like that. But then I watched it, I was like, man, this is like the
Yeah.
shittiest movie I've ever seen.
Between that and obviously I love Street Fighter the movie. I love those two movies, but I really want to watch DOA again and see how bad it actually is. It's so fun. But yeah, video game movies. We definitely had a lot to talk about those. And that one I went to Wikipedia, I think, and found the entire list of like every video game movie that had been made
Did
since,
you?
since like 1992 or something, and we went through them all. Oh, that was a good time. The next week, May 20th, we had non-MCU DCEU comic book movies. This one I was surprised at because you've watched a lot of those movies and you're aware of them. I've watched a lot of those movies and didn't even know they were comic book movies.
Yeah,
So we had fun talking about that one. That was definitely a you heavy episode.
true. I'm still waiting. DC/Vertigo/ whoever has Stormwatch and the Authority. Make me a Midnighter and Apollo television show.
Uh, June 10th, 2020. This was my first solo episode that I did to fill some content. This was my favorite top 10 favorite film scores. I was actually thinking about this episode. I was talking with a friend at work the other day, and I was saying how I needed to do another top 10 of this of like underrated, favorite,
scores.
or do an underrated film scores, or even do underrated movie soundtracks. Because
Yeah,
there's other movies that after I did this list, I'll stick by it, but there's some that I really regret not putting on there now. First and foremost, Last of the Mohicans. I completely forgot.
that is really good.
Completely forgot to put Last of the Mohicans on that list, and I feel so bad for it because I love that movie and I love that soundtrack or
One
OST.
day we need to do a like listening to a bunch of different film scores and then figuring out which composer it is,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like if you know Hans Zimmer, you know most of Hans Zimmer's music because it's got a very distinct sound, and I can't think of the guy's name at the guy that made Pacific Rim's soundtrack has been the person that makes the soundtracks or the composer or whatever for a bunch of TV shows, and it's like, why is that so familiar? But I want to do a thing where we listen to and try to find like who made what. Like
Yeah.
maybe multiple choice because it's hard to pull names out of your ass unless it's Hans Zimmer.
Or I don't know. I can hear John Williams and Danny Elfman. I can
Yeah.
tell from like
Yeah.
a mile away.
Yeah.
Danny Elfman, I can pick him out of anything.
It's I don't know, like there's a certain signature I feel like that all composers, especially composers that are known to do large, like big blockbusters,
Mhm.
you can kind of pick it out. And if you're a music nerd, like Clark and I are, you kind of listen and you go, "Holy, that sounds like that. Oh, it's the same person." And it's like, I don't know. I think it's a neat nerd thing that we should do sometime.
I'd probably like to do TV intros also.
Yeah, we could actually do the opening credit scenes, the
Mhm.
what's it, the animation and stuff like that, like the Daredevil and Hannibal, how
Daredevil.
they're the same person that made them, and
Mhm.
people were all pissed off because they're the same like concept, and it's like, but it's the same.
I love the Daredevil intro.
I do too. It's
I
beautiful.
I think out of all the Marvel stuff, the underrated one is Jessica Jones. I
See, I
absolutely
only
love
watched
that.
a little bit of Jessica Jones, so I don't remember
The
hers.
intro track, I want to learn the guitar solo at the beginning because it
You
kind of
should.
starts off like it's kind of very almost like I can imagine like a cat, like a feline walking at night, like it's an
Yeah.
inquisitive
Yeah.
sounding soundtrack, and then it just breaks into this like pulse racing, like do 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 do, and then like this guitar just starts
I'm gonna
ripping on
look it
it.
up when we get done
Yeah,
with this.
you got to listen to it because
I
it's
really
amazing.
I think it's neat. I mean, again, we're at tangents. I'm sorry, guys, but this is what you came here for. All of the little Marvel movie, not movie, the television series all have really neat little openings. Like I've been rewatching The Punisher while working on commissions, and Netflix does this wonderful thing where it auto plays, but it also auto plays the opening. And there are some shows that I'm like, I don't want to watch the opening again. I saw it once. That's all that matters.
Hmm.
But like with the Punisher, with Marvel TV
Oh,
series
I
in
never
general,
skip, even though it lets you.
yeah, I don't because it's neat, and I love not only the music but the animation that goes behind it and how well it all mixes together. And for some TV shows, they change up the intro according to the episode. And so they'll add, I don't think Marvel does it, but they'll add little things that are going to show up like small hints of what's
Oh
going to
yeah,
happen. And I think that's pretty cool
I
too.
always loved tangents. I always loved in Game of Thrones how
Yeah.
the map changes depending on what's happened in the story.
Yeah.
Like
That's
Winterfell's
one of the
burning or
best.
whatever.
Yeah, that's one of the best descriptions cuz you look at it and you think, "Oh, you hear the music and you're like, I'll listen to it cuz it's really good music. It's a really good song."
But then it gives you
But
something to
then if you
watch.
actually look at it, you're like, "Holy shit, wait a second."
Hmm.
It took me 2 seasons to realize that shit
That things were
happens
changing.
because I would watch it and I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, my
I don't think
brain
anyone really
thinks
noticed
different."
until Winterfell was burning,
Yeah.
and then everyone was like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's
Wait,
cool.
hold on.
The map's changing."
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Uh, Next episode that came out was on July 4th, 4th of July episode. Woohoo! This
Woo!
was 2020. We did our top 200 games and tangents. Now, this was the top 200 games of all time according to Game Informer up to 2010.
Yep.
So this was our retrospective on what we thought was funny about what they thought the best games of all time up to 2010 were, not having the benefit of an extra decade full of fantastic games. And we kind of sped through all of them and picked out the ones that we knew would stay on there. And then we saw some where we're like, if they did that list now, that would not be on there. It has not aged well at all.
Yeah.
And then we kind of put in our own thoughts on what we thought would or should or shouldn't be where it was ranked. And it was fun.
There were a lot of those. We were like, I don't know about this.
We took some hot takes on that one. I said number 1 should have been swapped with like number 27.
Yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember. Yeah, the next episode came out on July 25th, 2020. This was our top 10 favorite. Oh, this is me. Haha. So this was a solo, and it was my top 10 favorite 80s movies and tangents. And this was the first part of my 3-parter, which I'm going to be finishing actually soon. And I went through my favorite 80s movies. Pretty straightforward. If you haven't listened to that one, you should listen to it. I don't know how many of these you've gone back and listened to, but
I usually listen to all of them.
the 80s movies was good. I didn't have any that I really regretted on that one in retrospect. I think I was pretty solid. Like I said, I really wanted. I don't think I put the original Terminator on there, and that's one that I kind of regretted not having on there. But the list I was very happy with.
Yeah.
So that one I wouldn't change at all. The next one came out on August 13th, and that was part 2. That was my favorite 90s movies. This one, I'm losing my voice. I've been losing my voice this whole time, if you haven't realized it.
I have not
But
until
that
just
was-
now when you like squeaky toy
Earlier,
wheezed.
earlier I tried to talk and it just came out all airy and breathy.
Gross.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why. It's probably this weather change.
Probably.
Um,
Apparently allergies are like an issue right now.
it's
so
been really bad for me. I'm finally getting used to it now after like a week of this, and it's gonna get like hot again next week.
Lucky us.
Yay.
It's been like 60s and 70s. It's gorgeous.
I left a movie off of my top 10 favorite 90s movies that I just thought of the other day. So I was at work and we had it on a playlist of like we did 80s and we did 90s, and it was
Mhm.
basically best songs from movies. And we were playing name that tune or name the movie it's from,
Right.
basically. And I had totally forgotten about the movie A League of Our Own.
That is a good one.
That is a
That is a good one.
great
They're
90s movie.
Not remaking it. I think they're not necessarily a sequel, but not a remake.
Strange.
I don't know what it is specifically. I just heard about it the other day. I was like,
I'll
what?
have to look into that. But I forgot how much I love that movie.
It's a good movie.
I think I'm not going to go back on it, but what I will do is I'll probably end up doing my top 10 favorite sports movies
It's a good
at
one.
some point, and I'm sure that'll be
That's
on there.
definitely one you should do on your own because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
watched a lot of sports movies, but
Yeah, they probably don't stick out
they
as
don't
being favorite
resonate.
movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
September 3rd, 2020 was the next episode, and it was our spy media.
I
So
remember
we
that.
did espionage, movies, games, TVs, comics, and yeah, we talked about Hitman and James Bond, obviously, and we
Did
talked
you
about
say September 3rd?
that was on September 3rd.
This year?
That's when it was released. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It seems like forever
I
since
was
we've
like,
recorded.
hold on. I mean, last week seems like a year ago, so.
Yeah, this one, that's when it was released was September 3rd. But yeah, we talked about all that good stuff. That one's pretty recent on my mind. That was a good quality episode too.
It's a fun one.
Went for an hour and 38 minutes. Pretty respectable there.
Probably talked about James Bond for like an hour of that hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah. We talked about Man from U.N.C.L.E. a lot because we both.
Man from U.N.C.L.E. is really good. There are people that still haven't seen it, and I go, you need to watch this movie. And they're like, I don't know. I'm like,
So,
no,
yeah.
you have to. I don't know a single person that has watched that movie that hasn't enjoyed it. So if you're that person, don't make yourself known to me because I won't believe you.
I didn't know anything about it, and
I didn't either when I watched it.
my wife made me watch it. She's like, I want to watch this, and then I was like, okay, Henry Cavill, Alicia
Armie
Vikander,
Hammer.
and I was like, I'll watch it. And then I was like so surprised. I was like, that was a really
Yeah,
fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, I would like for them to make more because I feel like it's such a fun genre, but also it's a good standalone movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They definitely set it up though to have more. And
Just
I
gotta
think
chill in
that's
here.
another, huh?
It's just gotta chill. I was like,
Touched by a ghost.
maybe.
Maybe. That's another one where the closing credits kind of go back and tell you a little bit like you see Armie Hammer's character Ilya talks about having been a boat racing champion or something. I don't remember the whole of it, but like his dossier shows him having been boat racing champion of this year, and you get to see little tidbits about each of them, and it's something that most people probably don't pay attention because as soon as credits roll, people are like, I'm out. But with a father that used to do film editing and stuff like that, it's neat to kind of see what people do and see how many more roles there are in movies now as opposed to 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, if you haven't seen that movie, definitely watch it.
Next episode came out on September 14th, 2020, and this was Fan Theories with Garrett.
Oh, no.
And, you've not listened to the
I
most
don't
recent
think I
ones?
have.
Oh, please listen to these 2 episodes.
Oh, no.
So, for those who haven't listened to the podcast and are just watching this on YouTube, my buddy Garrett is a budding stand-up comic, and all-around hilarious dude. He's just got a real natural flow to him, and we had so much fun doing this because he had never been recorded like on a microphone before.
Uh-huh.
He'd never heard himself
Oh, no.
speaking through a microphone before. And I had no clue how he was going to do like sitting down and doing it. And so we were joking leading up to it. I was talking to one of our other friends and I was like, if he just sits down and freezes, like, I don't know what we're going to do.
Just stand there staring at each
Like,
other for the whole
I was going to be
episode.
like, welcome to Hello Tangent, yada, yada, yada. I'm your host Clark and this is my buddy Garrett. And him be like, hello.
breathy
him,
noises that you're making.
him tapping it. And
Yep.
Hi.
Is this thing on?
I was cracking up. I was just like, man, if he freezes, I'm gonna.
That would be fucking hilarious.
But anyway, he did great. He did amazing, and he was cool enough to come back and do a second episode for us while you were under quarantine.
Is it raining? As I make a million.
I was about to say,
noises.
oh, don't shake the wooden blinds or anything while we're recording. It's supposed to rain tonight. I know. I just washed my truck too.
I was gonna wash my car. Glad I didn't.
I still had to wash my truck anyway because bugs, highway,
Yeah.
things like that. Get that Rain-X on it.
hmm
But anyway, we did fan theories, and you really need to go back and listen to it. We had a really good time. He told me about some fan theories I had never. Also, Garrett knows a lot about Star Wars. Fun fact about him: he doesn't seem
Do
like
we
the kind
finally
of guy.
get to do our Star Wars episodes that
Yes.
I've been dying to do
Oh, we
for
totally can.
2 years?
We got to have him on there too because he's surprisingly like
Austin too, because Austin
Yeah.
knows a shitload about Star Wars too.
you wouldn't think it like just meeting Garrett,
Uh-huh.
but he knows a ton about Star Wars, like a lot.
Yeah, I'm
and
fine
so-
with that.
He had some really good theories that I'd never heard of before. Some like real deep cut comics and stuff from like Expanded Universe and Legends and things. We had a good time, so you should listen to that one. And then last, this one came out 2 days ago. Our most recent episode. It was iconic movie and TV cars, and this one was also with Garrett. So Garrett, like I said, was cool enough to come back down and do another episode with me. And
Does he also have to drive a pretty long distance?
he has to do basically the opposite drive I make.
Oh, that's shitty.
So he came 75 miles essentially to
You
do.
better start making like a sleeping zone for
Yeah,
people to
seriously.
come visit. Just crash out on the
I
couch.
know.
Film an episode when we get here. Film an episode the day after.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's cost effective there.
Isn't it?
Uh,
I just thought of that just now. See what kind of genius I am. It's called spur of the moment.
it's,
But also, like, if you
you're one of those
don't
people
want
like,
people staying over, that's understandable.
I'm an idea person.
And an idea.
An idea person. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with this one because we both geeked out. We were both big car guys, especially me when I was younger and didn't have obligations and I could afford to just mess around with vehicles.
What is that?
Yeah, no, we talked about he has like 4 Mustangs right now. He's working on. It's like, why do you own that? You don't need that.
Sir,
He just has a yeah.
why
I
not?
was like, why do you have a car lot? Because you're young and single and nothing to spend money on.
That's right.
But we had a good time. We had a really good time doing this, and it came out really funny. I'll let you hear a snippet of it earlier.
It was
That
pretty
was
funny.
that was great. So definitely encourage anyone to go check those out. But that's it. 25 episodes in 52 weeks to the day. So one
You
every
do
2
that
weeks.
because I'm not fucking doing that math.
It's about one every 2 weeks, essentially.
Makes
A little
sense.
over. We had a few stuck in there. Not a bad turnaround, I guess.
It is raining.
Oh, you do hear it. Sweet. We get some ambience to this podcast here at the end.
Just
I say podcast. This is really just for YouTube.
a YubTub podcast.
Yep.
You can put it on both, just in case there are viewers that want to listen and not.
I
watch.
could, but I'm going to have to figure out how to put that audio back in and listen to it because, surprise, I haven't been recording the podcast the whole time.
Oh no!
I figured this out about 15 minutes in and didn't want to tell you to ruin the flow. Tangents.
Hey, we gotta do it all over again.
Didn't know this was going to have a twist ending, did you?
Oh man, that's awesome! I'm
But
sure
no.
that there's some way that you can.
Well, it's been recording the whole time for the YouTube.
Yeah,
It just hasn't been recording for the podcast audio.
that's amazing. By the way,
So that was my surprise for you.
I appreciate that. What a great birthday gift.
Anyway, we want to thank everyone for 1 year, everyone who has listened and followed. And like I
Hey,
said,
look, it's the bag of worms.
yeah, hey, Murr for the 1 year. Maybe he actually is going to make an appearance. He's creeping. Yeah, he might make an appearance before we stop. But tell them where they can find us other than YouTube because that's where they're
Well,
watching this.
Yeah. Well, so YouTube will hopefully conveniently have links to all of our things, such as Facebook at Hello Tangent.
Hello, Tangent.
Hello Tangent.
Hello,
Is
Tangent.
it Hello Tangent? Is
Hello,
it Pod or
Tangent.
Tangent? Just Hello Tangent on Facebook.
On Facebook, you can just search Hello Tangent.
You could technically search Hello Tangent on anything.
Yeah, anything.
On Twitter, on Instagram, on SoundCloud, Spotify.
Spotify,
Spotify,
Apple
Apple,
Podcasts.
Apple
Yes.
Noise. You guys got to go rate and tell us all the things that you
Yes.
like about us, all the things you want us to fix.
Please rate and review. It helps out immensely. It's really the only thing that can really help us out and get the name out there. And eventually we can do lots and lots and lots of more stuff, including skits and stuff that
Yeah. Hey, listen, we were just talking about it earlier, but where I'm moving to happens to have, I mean, Augusta probably.
everyone knows.
Oh man, where we live
For
currently.
1 year, you finally know where we're actually podcasting
They
out of.
probably know because I've probably mentioned it before. Anyway, just
Which is funny that we both work in other cities
I
that
know,
are bigger cities.
right, much larger. Yeah, there's probably stuff here, but in Atlanta, in Kennesaw, in those areas that I will be living near, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and Clark and I are tentatively slightly believe in spooky things.
I enjoy it for the history. I'm a skeptic that loves history. I
Yeah.
love the lore.
I like being spooked.
Yeah, I just love. I'm in love with the idea of the paranormal,
Yeah,
but I have yet to be proved. like,
100% without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
I'm tentative about it. I don't disbelieve, but I've only had a few examples, like experiences that could potentially be written off as something else entirely. But maybe you'll get Hello Tangent Spook Zone.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be going ghost hunting. Go look at different neat historical areas, because there are a lot of, on this side of the United States in general, there's a lot of stuff. And
Make it Hello Legend.
Hello Legends.
Oh,
Yeah, you can speak in a really smoky, like
smoky voice.
smoky voice.
Well, I get it, the Bayou voice.
Yeah.
We're gonna get down there. We're gonna find them some ghosts.
We could go up to fucking Blue Ridge and go hang out in some of those cabins and see if we hear banjos, because isn't it up there where
they film Deliverance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Going in those areas, it's kind of like when I lived in New Orleans, and there were a couple of like trails you could go on that were over certain swamp areas. It was pretty much like, no, it doesn't matter if there's paranormal or not, because who cares about ghosts
there's
when
people.
you could be eaten
Or
by cannibals
alligators.
and alligators. They like share them. It's like a pet for them. Anyway, so we might be doing some Hello Legends, something like that. We'll figure it out. But yeah, if you interact with us in any sort of way, we will respond to you. We're pretty good at responding to people, and we appreciate whether you have comments to tell us how dumb we sound or look now that you can see us. How yeah, exactly. How much you enjoy listening to us or don't. I mean, hell, any sort of comment is a good comment to us. So be sure to check us out, give us a like, give us a follow, come talk to us. Let us know what you want to hear from us, because we have so many things to talk about, but we want to know what you want to hear from us.
We hope you enjoyed our first YouTube video. There's the infamous Transformers wall that's mentioned in so many
episodes of Hey Cat, what got added? And I'm like,
sealed Bayonetta.
Yeah, look up there. That's the Bayonetta.
That is a mint.
That is
sealed
a mint
Bayonetta.
condition.
So anything we've mentioned on the podcast, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, this is our special shelves. Yeah.
But hit us up on social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the good stuff.
Instagram.
Yeah, I almost said Instagram.
Instagram. Don't Instagram to our Instagram. Subscribe.
Instagram.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what we're saying.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Oh yeah, we're making a Discord. I know I mentioned that earlier, but if you're interested in coming and chatting with us, that's a good way to do it, and it's going to be free, so you don't have to be a member of anything. But you should join us on Patreon, and or subscribe to us on Twitch.
Yep. Our Twitch is hello_tangent. There.
Clark has been playing around on Twitch a lot. Once I get settled into my new place, I will probably start logging on and playing some things.
And some of those videos are already uploaded to the YouTube. You could see them right here.
What?
If you're watching YouTube.
Where's the subscribe button going to be?
If you're watching it on TV like mine, the other videos will be here.
Subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Is that what the YouTubers say?
Hit that bell notification.
So that you'll know every time we post.
And yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming. We've promised a lot, but now we finally got to the point where the setup is here and legit.
It's set up.
It's set up. So yeah, this is the room, and
This is where the magic
well, this is one of
happens.
the rooms. Technically, I there's another room where I
There's
do the
another
Twitch and stuff,
magic room,
and
but
also
like
where we can do our film reviews and stuff.
you Twitch things over there?
I do,
You Twitch?
and yeah, I need the two TVs.
Yeah, I know. It's like a whole setup.
And I've got the banners. You can't see right now, but
Well,
they're
they're all
behind me.
folded up.
That's because I swap them out. So Martell and Targaryen are back there right now, and then I swap them out for like Night's Watch and Bolton or Baratheon and Stark, and
It's fair.
I like to keep it fresh,
Funky fresh.
funky fresh. That's definitely how I'm described. People look at that. Yeah.
That guy, he's funky fresh.
All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this. You want to say bye?
I can say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.